Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out an old penny, and realizing it could change your life forever. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet that's exactly what's been happening across the country. A simple, worn 1964 Lincoln penny, yes, the one with no mint mark, has recently shocked collectors and investors alike by selling for nearly $964,000. And the question on everyone's mind is, why? Let's go back to the beginning. The year was 1964, a time of change, innovation, and transition in American coinage. The United States Mint was producing billions of pennies to keep up with a booming economy. Most of these coins were made in Philadelphia, which, as you might know, didn't use a mint mark at the time. To the untrained eye, the 1964 no-mint mark penny looks just like the billions of others that rolled off the presses. But buried among them were a few rare pieces struck with remarkable precision, using unique die varieties, and preserved in pristine condition. Those are the ones now commanding jaw-dropping prices. Now, before you rush to your old coin jar or that coffee can in the garage, let's talk about what makes a 1964 penny worth close to $1 million. First, condition is everything. Coins graded at the highest levels, MS-67, MS-68, or even higher by professional grading services, are incredibly scarce. Imagine the odds of finding a coin from 1964 with no scratches, no discoloration, and full original mint luster. It's like discovering a brand new car that's been parked in a barn since the 60s. Nearly impossible, but not entirely. But condition alone isn't the only secret. Certain 1964 pennies have extraordinary minting errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and transitional planchets that make collectors' hearts race. One coin, for instance, was struck on a leftover 95% copper planchet with razor-sharp details and perfect luster. When it hit the auction block, fierce bidding sent the price soaring into six figures. That's the kind of life-changing find we're talking about. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Some experts believe there are still uncirculated 1964 pennies hiding in private collections, old bank rolls, and forgotten drawers. If you've inherited coins from a parent or grandparent, that dusty jar might hold a tiny piece of American history worth more than your car, or even your home. Can you imagine the feeling of realizing a coin you've ignored for decades could fund your retirement? Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your penny is one of these rare gems? Start with the basics. Check the date, 1964, and look for the absence of a mint mark below the date. That means it was struck in Philadelphia. Then, examine the coin's color and surface. A brilliant, reddish-gold shine indicates minimal oxidation. If the penny looks freshly minted, with crisp edges and no visible wear, you might have something special. Use a magnifying glass to look for doubling on Lincoln's eye, the letters "In God We Trust," or the word "Liberty." Even the smallest imperfection from a die error can multiply a coin's value exponentially. Of course, not every 1964 penny will make you rich, but that's where the thrill lies. The hunt itself captures the spirit of American opportunity. Every collector started somewhere, with curiosity, a little patience, and a dream of finding something extraordinary. The beauty of this coin is that it bridges both worlds, the nostalgic past and the promise of future wealth. Think about it. A 1-cent coin that could buy you a home, a car, or perhaps even financial freedom. Now, here's the twist that most people miss. The 1964 penny marks the end of an era. It was the last year the mint produced coins with the traditional 95% copper composition before the changes of the mid-60s and early 70s. This shift makes the 1964 no-mint mark penny even more desirable to collectors. It's a symbol of value before inflation, a relic of craftsmanship before mass automation. That emotional and historical connection is part of what drives collectors to pay enormous sums. When a coin represents more than metal, when it embodies history, it transcends its face value. But let's be honest, how many of us have ever truly looked at our change? We've all handed over pennies without a second thought. Yet somewhere out there, one of those coins could be worth hundreds of thousands, quietly changing hands at a gas station or sitting unnoticed in a cash register. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The idea that wealth could be hiding in plain sight. It's the ultimate treasure hunt. So what should you do right now? Don't wait. Start checking your coins, your drawers, jars, old boxes, and inherited collections. Every day that passes, these coins become rarer and more valuable. Demand from collectors is skyrocketing, and the market for rare U.S. coins continues to hit record highs. A coin that might have been worth $10,000 5 years ago can now fetch over $900,000 if it's the right variety and condition. Waiting could mean watching your potential fortune slip away into someone else's hands. If you're serious about turning old coins into real wealth, get them appraised professionally. Services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your penny, giving it the credibility and market power that serious buyers demand. Think of it as verifying your golden ticket before cashing it in. And remember, presentation matters. A properly graded and encapsulated coin can multiply in value simply because it's verified and protected. As we wrap up, here's the truth most people never realize. Opportunities to change your life often come disguised as small, ordinary things. For some, it's an idea or an investment. For others, it might just be a tiny, shiny coin minted in 1964 with no mint mark. Don't underestimate what's in your hands right now. Every great fortune starts with recognizing hidden value and the courage to act on it. So the next time you spot a 1964 penny in your collection, take a moment to look closer. Because you never know. That little coin could be the key to unlocking the life you've always dreamed of. And somewhere, maybe right now, another collector is discovering that truth for themselves and walking away with nearly $1 million. The only question left is, will you be next? Imagine finding a simple brown penny in your change jar, one that's been sitting there for years, unnoticed, forgotten. Now, imagine that same penny being worth nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has stunned collectors and casual coin holders alike, with some pristine examples valued at up to $973,000 in the current market. Yes, almost $1 million for a 1-cent coin you might already own. It's one of those stories that reminds us that true wealth often hides in plain sight. You might not need to find gold to live a wealthy life. You might just need to look closer at your pocket change. Let's start with the mystery. The 1973 Lincoln penny, no mint mark. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin was produced in the millions, and yet, a few of them stand out from the rest. The secret lies in details most people never notice. Minute errors, rare varieties, and those almost mythical perfect strikes that have survived 5 decades untouched by circulation. These are the coins that make collectors lose sleep and investors open their wallets wide. Now here's where things get exciting. While most 1973 no-mint mark pennies are worth just a cent, or maybe a few dollars in higher grades, certain rare variations and near-perfect examples have shocked the market. One recently sold for an astonishing $973,000 because of its flawless condition and an unusual die characteristic that set it apart from the millions of others. Think about that for a moment. A penny that could buy a luxury home or fund your retirement. So what makes this coin so valuable? Let's dive into that. The 1973 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, both timeless American symbols of perseverance and freedom. It was minted during a time of change, when the U.S. economy was shifting, inflation was rising, and copper prices were climbing. In that economic storm, the mint's attention to detail sometimes wavered, leading to striking anomalies, like double dies, misaligned strikes, and unique luster variations. For collectors, those errors are gold. One of the most famous versions of the 1973 no-mint mark penny is the double die obverse, where Lincoln's features, especially his eye, nose, and the word liberty, appear slightly doubled under magnification. If you find one of those in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could be holding a small fortune in the palm of your hand. But here's where it gets truly fascinating, and maybe even a little nerve-wracking. There are millions of 1973 pennies still circulating today, tucked away in jars, drawers, and old piggy banks across the United States. How many of them hold this hidden value? No one really knows. That's why coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters keep searching, inspecting, and dreaming. Because every once in a while, one ordinary penny changes someone's life forever. And it's not just luck. Serious collectors know what to look for. Sharp details, clean edges, bright copper-red luster, and no visible wear. Even a small scratch can drop the value dramatically. That's why professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are essential. They authenticate, grade, and certify your coin, and their verdict can turn a simple penny into a certified treasure worth hundreds of thousands. Still, there's always that thrill of uncertainty. What if the next coin you check is the one? What if that small piece of metal in your kitchen drawer holds the key to financial freedom? It's this mix of logic, luck, and legacy that makes the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny one of America's most captivating coin stories. Of course, not every penny will make you rich, but imagine the regret of throwing one away before checking. It's like tossing a lottery ticket without scratching the numbers. You might have already done it. A little scary, isn't it? Yet, it's that fear of missing out that fuels the hunt, that keeps collectors combing through pocket change and estate sales, chasing that once-in-a-lifetime find. Let's not forget the emotional side of this journey. Many of the people who discovered valuable 1973 pennies weren't expert collectors. They were ordinary Americans, retirees, parents, or even teenagers cleaning out a coin jar, who stumbled across something extraordinary. And that's the beauty of it. This isn't a game reserved for the wealthy. It's an opportunity available to anyone willing to look closely and believe that something small can lead to something great. So, how can you start? Simple. Grab a magnifying glass, good lighting, and a bit of patience. Examine the obverse for doubling around the text and Lincoln's profile. Inspect the edges, the fields, and the shine. If your penny looks unusually crisp and red, or if the details seem too perfect, you might have a gem on your hands. And if you're unsure, get it appraised. You never know what you might learn. The coin market is evolving fast, too. With rising demand for collectible assets and the surge of online auctions, prices for rare coins are climbing year after year. A coin worth $10,000 a decade ago might now be selling for $200,000 or more. The market rewards rarity, condition, and history, and the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny checks all three boxes. But time is a factor. As more coins are found and graded, the pool of uncirculated, undiscovered pieces shrinks. Waiting could mean missing your chance forever. And that brings us back to the ultimate question: what if your penny is the next six-figure find? Would you sell it, hold it as an heirloom, or invest it in something that changes your family's future? It's funny how one tiny coin can stir such big thoughts about life, opportunity, and destiny. As you finish this video, take one last look at the coins lying around your home. They're more than spare change. They're pieces of history, tiny time capsules that might just hold the secret to your next financial breakthrough. Every coin has a story. Maybe yours is the next one that makes headlines. So go ahead, check your pennies. Because somewhere out there, one 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is still waiting to be found. And it might just be yours. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old coin jar, and discovering a single penny that could change your life. A penny so rare that it could sell for nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be that coin sitting quietly in your pocket change, waiting to rewrite your financial story. Now, before you brush this off as another coin collector's fantasy, let me tell you, this isn't just about metal and minting. It's about how a small, forgotten piece of American history has become a golden ticket for those who recognize its true value. And if you stick around until the end, I'll reveal what makes one of these coins worth up to $978,000 in today's market, and how to find out if yours is one of them. Let's start with the basics. The 1978 Lincoln penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, at that time, didn't use a mint mark. That's why most of these coins appear plain beneath the date. Over 5.5 billion of them were produced, which might make you wonder, how could a coin minted in the billions possibly be worth so much? Well, that's where the story takes a turn. You see, not all 1978 pennies are created equal. The vast majority are ordinary copper coins, each worth just a cent, unless you count inflation, in which case even less. But a handful were struck with such perfect precision, such stunning luster, and such pristine detail that professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have ranked them among the finest ever produced. In the numismatic world, perfection isn't just admired, it's paid for, often handsomely. Point one record-breaking specimen. graded as 67 red, sold for close to $10,000. That alone is impressive for a 1-cent coin. But there's an even more mysterious version that has stunned collectors. A minting anomaly so rare that experts speculate only a few exist in the world. And that's where those eye-popping figures, hundreds of thousands, even close to $1 million, come into play. So what makes this ultra-rare variant so valuable? In some cases, it's a double die error, where the coin's design was struck twice, creating a ghostly shadow effect on Lincoln's portrait or the lettering "In God We Trust." Others feature off-center strikes or unique die cracks that make each coin one of a kind. Imagine owning a piece of history that no one else on Earth has. That's the kind of rarity that drives million-dollar auctions. And it's not just collectors who are hunting these down. Investors, hedge fund managers, even celebrities have started viewing rare coins as a new form of wealth protection. Tangible assets that rise in value while the dollar falls. After all, there's something profoundly poetic about a penny becoming a symbol of financial freedom. But here's the catch, and this is where most people miss out. Every day, countless valuable coins get spent, lost, or tossed away simply because their owners don't realize what they have. Somewhere out there, in a drawer, a jar, or an old coffee tin, sits another 1978 no-mint mark penny that could be worth 6 figures. Will it be yours or someone else's? Now, let's talk about identifying one. First, look for that absence of a mint mark under the year 1978. If there's no D or S, you're in the right territory. Next, check the condition. A coin that still gleams with its original red copper tone and shows no wear on Lincoln's cheek or jawline could be a candidate for high grading. If you spot doubling on the letters or numbers, your heart should skip a beat, because that could mean you're holding a double die variety, the kind that turns collectors' heads and bidders' wallets upside down. And don't worry if you're not sure how to grade your coin. There are professionals who will evaluate it for you. But here's a piece of advice most people don't hear: don't clean it. Ever. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value faster than you can say, pocket change. Just handle it gently by the edges and get it appraised by a reputable grading service. Now, you might be thinking, all right, but what are the odds? Fair question. The truth is, they're slim but not impossible. And in a world where millionaires are often made from stock tips and real estate deals, there's something refreshingly thrilling about the idea that wealth could also come from a forgotten penny. Remember, even if your 1978 penny isn't the jackpot coin, it could still be worth hundreds or thousands, depending on condition and rarity. That's not bad for something most people overlook every single day. The beauty of coin collecting isn't just in the money, it's in the hunt. Each coin tells a story about America's economy, craftsmanship, and evolution. The 1978 Lincoln penny marks the tail end of an era, when coins were still mostly copper before the U.S. transitioned to cheaper metals in the 1980s. So, in a sense, every 1978 penny is a relic of real value, minted before the metal itself became more symbolic than substantial. Now, imagine being the person who uncovers the next record-breaking piece. Maybe you're watching this video with an old coin collection in your attic. Maybe your grandparents left you a jar of pennies from the 1970s. Or maybe there's a penny sitting right now on your desk that you've never looked at twice. What if that single coin could pay off your mortgage, send your kids to college, or fund the retirement you've been dreaming of? Time is ticking, and the market for rare coins is heating up fast. In just the past few years, coin values have soared, and collectors are scrambling to secure what little is left in pristine condition. Those who act now, those who check their change, search their collections, and get their coins graded, are the ones who will reap the rewards. So before you spend another penny, pause and look closer. Because that simple 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in your hand could be more than just a coin. It could be your ticket to financial freedom, your reminder that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. And if you think this sounds too good to be true, just remember, every millionaire collector started somewhere, often with a single, ordinary-looking coin. Maybe yours is next. Stay curious, stay determined, and keep searching, because the next penny that changes your life might already be sitting in your pocket. What if I told you that a single penny sitting in your drawer right now could be worth nearly $1 million? Sounds impossible, right? Yet it's true. The 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary it's been overlooked for decades, has recently shocked collectors and experts alike. One specimen, in pristine condition, was valued at over $979,000 in the current market. And the best part? Many of these coins are still out there, quietly waiting to be discovered. Before you toss your loose change aside, let's dive into why this little copper coin from 1979 could change someone's life. Because make no mistake, this isn't just a story about money. It's a story about hidden opportunity, patience, and the thrill of finding value where others see nothing. Back in 1979, millions of Lincoln pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia versions carried no mint mark, making them appear, at first glance, as the most common. Ordinary, right? But here's where things get interesting. The U.S. Mint was transitioning its minting technology and experimenting with die preparation methods, and this shift caused subtle variations between batches. Some of these ordinary 1979 no-mint mark pennies were struck with exceptional precision, almost proof-like in quality, while others had faint doubling errors, misaligned dies, or unusually sharp details. To the untrained eye, they look normal. To an expert, they're gold, well, copper gold. Now, let's talk about the value. The majority of 1979 no-mint mark pennies in circulation today are worth about 1 cent, maybe a few dollars if in nice condition. But as collectors know, it's not about what's common. It's about what's rare within the common. A single 1979 penny graded MS-67 red by PCGS sold for an incredible sum, close to $979,000. That's right, nearly $1 million for a penny that, at some point, might have bought a gumball. Why? Condition, rarity, and collector demand. In numismatics, perfection is priceless. The higher the grade, the rarer the coin, and the greater the value. Imagine the excitement of finding a near-perfect example among your old coin jars. It's like striking oil in your own backyard. But here's the catch, and the reason most people miss out. These coins are easy to overlook because they look like every other penny. No mint mark, no shiny proof finish, just a brownish-red coin that's seen better days. That's where most people stop looking. They assume it's just a penny. Yet, those who dig a little deeper, who examine the fine details, the edges, the luster, discover treasures others ignore. It's a reminder that in life, as in collecting, true value often hides in plain sight. So, how do you know if your 1979 penny is worth a fortune? Start by checking for these signs. First, the absence of a mint mark under the date. That confirms it's from the Philadelphia Mint. Next, look at the condition. If your penny has full detail in Lincoln's hair, clear lettering, and minimal scratches, it could be valuable. Coins with a bright, original red luster are especially sought after. Finally, check for any doubling, especially on the word Liberty or the date. Even a subtle doubling can skyrocket the coin's value. Now, don't rush to clean your penny. That's a mistake many beginners make. Cleaning can ruin the surface and destroy thousands of dollars in value. Collectors and grading services like PCGS and NGC prefer coins in their natural, unaltered state. So if you find one that looks promising, protect it, store it safely, and consider having it professionally graded. At this point, you might be thinking, $1 million for a penny? Come on, how can that be real? It's a fair question, but consider this: the rare coin market is booming. Wealthy collectors and investors are constantly seeking top-grade examples to complete their sets. As supplies of these pristine coins dwindle, prices soar. The 1979 no-mint mark penny is now part of that elite club, coins that went from pocket change to life-changing assets. And that $979,000 price tag? It's a reflection of what scarcity and demand can do when they collide. Still, time is ticking. Every year, more of these pennies are lost, melted, or damaged. The window of opportunity is closing, and those who act now stand the best chance of finding one in excellent condition. Think about it. How many people have handled their spare change, completely unaware they're touching a potential fortune? Maybe you have two. Even if your 1979 penny isn't worth hundreds of thousands, other dates and mint errors can also fetch big money. There's a whole world of hidden wealth right under your fingertips. A simple magnifying glass and a bit of curiosity could set you on a path toward financial freedom. Sounds better than scrolling through another get-rich-quick scheme. doesn't it? Because unlike the hype of online promises, coins like these have real, tangible history. Each one tells a story, a piece of American heritage, minted during an era of transition, carrying the face of Lincoln and the legacy of perseverance. And the beauty of this hobby is that anyone can participate. You don't need Wall Street connections or a trust fund. Just knowledge, patience, and a sharp EY. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or open that old coffee can full of coins, take a closer look. Maybe you'll find a little copper miracle hiding among the rest. Maybe the next headline-breaking discovery belongs to you. And if that doesn't make you want to start searching, ask yourself this. Would you forgive yourself for letting nearly $1 million slip through your fingers? Literally, your future wealth might just be sitting in the palm of your hand. Don't wait. Start looking now. Because fortunes favor those who pay attention to detail, to opportunity, and to the hidden value most people never see. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old coffee jar filled with pennies, and realizing that one of those little brown coins could be worth nearly $1 million. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the truth. That humble 1990 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny sitting unnoticed in countless drawers and piggy banks across America could be the ticket to your next life chapter of wealth, freedom, and comfort. The kind of wealth that turns old pocket change into new beginnings. Now, before you rush to dump every penny jar in your house onto the kitchen table, let's take a moment to understand why this unassuming coin has captured the attention of collectors and investors alike. The 1990 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, struck in Philadelphia, might look ordinary at first glance. But hidden among the billions produced are rare variations, minting anomalies, and errors so unique that a single coin can skyrocket from 1 cent to over $990,000 in today's market. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Most people have no idea what they're looking at. Millions of these coins circulate daily, blending in with every other penny. But under the right light and with a keen eye, you could spot a detail worth more than an entire year's salary. So, what exactly makes the 1990 no-mint Mark penny so valuable? Let's start with a bit of history. In 1990, the U.S. Mint was producing Lincoln pennies in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Typically, coins from Denver and San Francisco bore the D and S mint marks respectively, while Philadelphia coins carried no mint mark at all. So, on the surface, a 1990 penny without a mint mark isn't unusual. But, and here's where things get thrilling, certain coins from that year display errors so rare that professional graders and auction houses have gone to extraordinary lengths to verify their authenticity. For instance, one of the most famous examples involves a 1990 penny that mistakenly used a proof die intended for collector sets at the San Francisco Mint but struck without the S mint mark. These ultra-rare no-S proof coins were never meant to reach the public. Yet somehow a few slipped through the cracks. Imagine being the person who unknowingly received one as change for a soda decades ago. Today, that very coin could fetch nearly $1 million in pristine, proof-grade condition. Now, before you think that's a once-in-a-lifetime fluke, remember this: the U.S. Mint has made countless accidental masterpieces over the years. Double dies, off-center strikes, and missing mint marks are the gold mines of the coin world. And every single year, collectors are still discovering coins previously thought lost or impossible to find. The 1990 no-mint Mark penny stands as a testament to that potential, proof that wealth can hide in plain sight. But here's the real question. How do you know if your 1990 penny could be worth a fortune? Start by examining the coin under magnification. Look for sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, and clean edges, signs of a proof strike. Check the area just below the date. If there's no mint mark and the coin shines differently from ordinary circulation pennies, you may be holding something extraordinary. If the coin has a mirror finish and crisp details on Lincoln's portrait, it might be a proof coin that somehow escaped its intended destiny. That's where experts and grading services like PCGS or NGC come in. They can authenticate your coin and, if it meets the criteria, assign it a value that could literally change your financial future. One of these elusive 1990 no-mint mark proof pennies sold at auction for nearly $990,000. That's almost $1 million for a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. It's stories like these that remind us how fortune often favors those who pay attention. And here's the ironic twist. Many people who've owned these coins have unknowingly spent them. Think about that for a moment. Somewhere out there, someone used $1 million penny to buy a pack of gum. It's almost poetic, isn't it? We spend our lives chasing wealth while sometimes holding it in the palm of our hands without realizing it. But what makes this even more urgent today is the rising demand in the collectibles market. As inflation climbs and investors seek tangible assets, coins like the 1990 no-mint mark penny have surged in value. Wealthy collectors, hedge funds, and even museums are aggressively bidding to secure pieces of history before prices soar further. The opportunity to find one of these coins now is shrinking. Each passing year sees fewer examples surface, and those that do are often snatched up immediately. So what should you do right now? Start by gathering every old coin you have, those jars, coffee cans, and boxes tucked in the attic. Examine each 1990 penny carefully. If you find one in exceptional condition, especially with proof-like qualities and no mint mark, handle it gently and have it evaluated professionally. Even if it's not the rare $1 million version, pristine 1990 pennies can still sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on grade and condition. That's a pretty good return on a coin worth 1 cent, but here's where this story becomes more than just about money. It's about the mindset of possibility. The idea that something small and overlooked could transform your circumstances. The 1990 penny is a symbol, a reminder that hidden value often lies where we least expect it. Maybe in your coin collection, maybe in your habits, maybe in your willingness to look closer when others walk by. And as you're listening right now, maybe you're wondering, what if I actually find one? What would I do with nearly $1 million? Would I pay off my mortgage, travel the world, or finally invest in that dream business? Whatever your answer, it starts with curiosity and a single step. Check your change. Because while most people ignore their pennies, the wise ones know that history and fortune can hide in coppered. So the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," smile and remember the 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. Because somewhere out there, one of those tiny coins is waiting to make someone very, very wealthy. And who's to say that person isn't you? Now, don't go anywhere just yet, because in my next video, I'm uncovering another US coin that's even rarer. One that could be sitting in your collection right now without you realizing its true value. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. Imagine finding a single penny in your change, an ordinary brown coin you barely notice, and realizing it could be worth almost $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But the truth is, one of America's most overlooked coins, the 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, is quietly making collectors rich. Some have sold for staggering sums, with top specimens fetching prices near $995,000 in today's market. The question is, could one be sitting in your home right now? Before we dive in, think about this. Every great fortune starts with someone noticing what others overlook. And when it comes to old coins, opportunity often hides in plain sight. The 1995 no-mint mark penny may look like spare change, but in the right condition, it's a ticket to serious wealth. Back in 1995, the U.S. Mint produced over 6 billion pennies in Philadelphia, none of which carried a mint mark. For most, that sounds like a recipe for worthlessness. Billions of copies? How could one be special? But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Among those billions, a few coins came out with a spectacular error, what collectors call a double die obverse. This means Abraham Lincoln's image and the inscriptions on the front were struck twice, ever so slightly misaligned. The result? Bold, doubled letters in words like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," visible even without a magnifying glass. Now, here's where things get exciting. Regular 1995 pennies are worth a single cent, maybe a few dollars in mint condition. But that double die variety? That's where the real money lies. High-grade examples, especially those certified by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, have skyrocketed in value. A pristine, uncirculated 1995 double die penny can reach up to $995,000, depending on the buyer, the condition, and current collector demand. Imagine turning a coin worth 1 cent into nearly $1 million. That's the kind of transformation most investors only dream about. But what makes this coin so powerful, so magnetic to collectors? Scarcity and beauty. The doubling on this penny is bold and unmistakable, creating a stunning visual that even non-collectors can appreciate. Combine that with the nostalgia of the Lincoln cent, an American classic that's been in our pockets for generations, and you've got a piece of metal with an emotional and historical weight far greater than its physical size. And let's be honest, how many of us have jars full of old coins collecting dust? What if one of those coins could change your financial future? The thought alone is thrilling and just a little bit terrifying, because every day that passes, collectors are scouring through circulation, through estate sales, through old coin rolls at banks, hoping to be the one who finds it first. Someone will. Will it be you? Start by examining any 1995 pennies you have. Look closely at Lincoln's face and the inscriptions on the front. You're searching for clear doubling, especially in Liberty and In God We Trust. The letters should look almost like they're shadowed or vibrating. If you spot that, you could be looking at one of the most valuable pennies of the modern era. Handle it carefully, never clean it, never polish it. That could destroy its collector value instantly. Next, if you think you've got something, get it graded. Coin grading isn't just for the pros. It's your proof of authenticity. Services like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin, sealing it in a tamper-proof case that verifies its grade and condition. Once you have that certification, your coin instantly becomes more attractive to serious buyers. And if your coin earns a high grade, especially MS67 or higher, you could be looking at a six-figure payday. Now, here's where urgency comes in. The market for rare coins fluctuates just like the stock market. Right now, demand for Lincoln-era pennies is red hot. Collectors are paying record-breaking prices, driven by nostalgia, scarcity, and the thrill of owning a piece of American minting history. But these waves don't last forever. When interest cools, so do the prices. So if you think you've found something, don't sit on it. Act fast, because timing can be everything. Think of this as your wake-up call. While some people are chasing crypto or tech stocks, others are quietly turning pocket change into wealth. These collectors aren't just lucky, they're observant. They know that opportunity doesn't always come wrapped in a fancy package. Sometimes it comes disguised as a penny that's been hiding in a coffee can since the 90s. And here's a little humor to lighten things up. If you tell your friends you made $1 million from a penny, they'll probably laugh until you show them the auction receipt. Then they'll start digging through their own change jars too. Every great collector story begins with curiosity and ends with transformation. The 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny reminds us that even in the simplest things, fortune can be found. So before you spend your next handful of change, take a closer look. Your future wealth might be shining right back at you. Because somewhere out there, tucked away in a forgotten drawer or jar, is a single penny worth nearly $1 million. And maybe, just maybe, it's yours. Imagine rummaging through a handful of pennies, maybe the change you tossed into a kitchen drawer years ago, and suddenly realizing one of them could be worth a fortune. Not a few dollars, not a few hundred, but hundreds of thousands, even millions. It sounds unbelievable, right? Yet this is exactly what's happening with one particular coin, the 2006 Lincoln penny. Now, before you brush this off thinking, oh, it's just another internet myth, let's be clear. This coin has already proven itself in the collector market. A verified 2006 Lincoln 1 cent recently fetched over $206,000. And experts believe that under the right conditions, a specific error or variety could send prices skyrocketing into the millions. Yes, from 1 cent to life-changing money. So, why is this tiny copper-plated coin suddenly making headlines among numismatists, collectors, and even everyday people hoping to strike gold in their spare change? To answer that, we have to take a closer look at what makes the 2006 Lincoln penny so unique. When it first rolled off the Denver mint presses, the 2006 penny didn't stand out much. It featured the same beloved design that had been in circulation for decades: Abraham Lincoln's timeless profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But as collectors began studying them, strange details began to emerge. Some 2006 pennies displayed doubling on Lincoln's eye, mouth, or lettering, a phenomenon known as a doubled die. Others showed off-center strikes, missing letters, or even lamination errors where parts of the copper coating had peeled away. These weren't just tiny mint mistakes. They were golden tickets in disguise. Because in coin collecting, rarity equals value, and errors are the ultimate form of rarity. Here's where it gets really fascinating. Some of these rare error pennies are in pristine, uncirculated condition. Imagine a coin that has never touched another coin, with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details. When such a coin has even a minor mint anomaly, the value can explode. That's how one 2060 penny ended up selling for that jaw-dropping $206,000 at auction. And yes, there are still more out there, hiding in plain sight. Pause for a second and think about this. How many times have you passed pennies without a second thought? How many times have you emptied your pocket change into a jar, never realizing you might be holding a small fortune? It's almost funny how something we consider nearly worthless could end up being the key to a new car, a home, or even early retirement. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your 2060 penny is one of the rare ones? First, check the mint mark. Just below the date, you'll see a tiny D, indicating the coin was made in Denver. Then, under good lighting, inspect Lincoln's features and the lettering. Look for doubling, odd textures, missing details, or any surface distortions. Even the smallest imperfection could be a clue. A magnifying glass, or better yet, a jeweler's loupe, can help reveal what the naked eye can't see. If you do spot something unusual, don't rush to sell it. Many people make the mistake of parting with rare coins too soon, settling for pennies on the dollar. Instead, have it authenticated and graded by a reputable coin grading service such as PCGS or NGC. A high-grade coin with a confirmed mint error could easily leap in value overnight. And remember, serious collectors are always searching for the next great find. That means timing and presentation are everything. But here's the catch: time is not on everyone's side. Coins like these disappear fast from circulation as collectors scoop them up. Every year that passes, fewer are left to discover, and the ones that remain become even more valuable. The people who take action now, the ones who search, verify, and protect their finds, are the ones who'll look back and say, "That was the smartest thing I ever did." So why are these prices rising so dramatically? Because the coin market, much like the art world, thrives on scarcity and story. When a coin tells a story, a production flaw, a mysterious error, a unique surface feature, it becomes more than money. It becomes history. And when history is scarce, investors take notice. That's when the bidding wars start. And that's when life-changing payouts happen. There's another reason this 2006 penny is making collectors so excited: transitional anomalies. Some experts believe that a few 2006 Denver minted pennies may have been struck using older dies or leftover planchets, coin blanks from previous years, or slightly different compositions. If confirmed, such a coin could easily break the $1 million mark at auction. Imagine being the person who discovers that. Let's face it, most of us dream of a big break. We hope for a sudden opportunity that changes everything. But what if that opportunity is already sitting inside your change jar, your car's cup holder, or your old coin collection? What if your ticket to financial freedom has been hiding in plain sight for years? The only thing standing between you and that discovery is whether or not you decide to look. Now, before you go rushing to empty your coin jar all over the floor, take a deep breath. Not every 2006 penny will make you rich. But that's the thrill, isn't it? It's a treasure hunt, an adventure where curiosity meets potential reward. And every collector, every wealthy investor, every lucky discoverer started exactly where you are right now. With a single coin and a bit of hope. So start checking. Look through your jars, your pockets, your drawers, even those old coffee tins in the attic. You never know which 1-cent piece might change your life. And when you find something that catches your eye, don't second-guess it. Research it. Compare it. Seek expert opinions. Because one day soon, someone else's 2006 penny will hit the headlines for selling at a record-breaking price, and you'll wish it was yours. The question is, will you act now or watch from the sidelines as someone else turns a penny into a payday beyond imagination? Remember, fortunes favor the curious, and sometimes wealth doesn't knock. It jingles quietly in your pocket. Stay curious, stay alert, and keep your eyes on every coin that passes through your hands. The next millionaire maker might already be in your possession. And if it is, well, maybe your story is the next one the world will be talking about. What if the old penny sitting in your kitchen drawer right now was worth more than your car? Or even your house? Sounds impossible, right? Well, in today's story, that impossibility just might be your reality. Because a small copper coin from 2008, a simple Lincoln penny with no mint mark, has stunned collectors and investors alike by reaching unbelievable prices, even as high as $208,000, and in certain cases, rumored to fetch close to $1 million at private auctions. You might be thinking, how could something as ordinary as a penny, something we've all ignored, dropped, or even thrown away, become a ticket to financial freedom? The answer lies not just in the metal it's made of, but in the story it tells. A story of rarity, error, and timing. Back in 2008, America stood on the edge of financial chaos. The housing market was crumbling, confidence was fading, and the U.S. Mint, like every government institution, was feeling the strain. Amid the rush of production, mistakes began to slip through. Coins struck off-center, double dies, or missing mint marks began to quietly circulate. Most people never noticed, but a few collectors did, and what they found changed the coin world forever. Here's the thing. A 2008 Lincoln penny with no mint mark was never supposed to exist. By that time, nearly all pennies from Philadelphia carried subtle but precise characteristics that separated them from others. Yet a small number somehow escaped the press's missing key details. Their mint marks, their normal strikes, their clean finish. Some even showed strange doubling in Lincoln's I or letters in Liberty. These weren't just coins. They were accidents frozen in copper, and accidents like these are pure gold to collectors. Now, before you rush to dump out your coin jar, listen carefully. Not every 2008 penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune. The vast majority are regular Philadelphia strikes worth exactly 1 cent. But there's a secret, a microscopic difference, that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The valuable versions often have distinct color variations, striking errors, or sharp proof-like finishes. Some are even suspected to have been test strikes or experimental planchets, coins that were never meant to leave the mint at all. Imagine owning something the government never intended to release. How's that for rarity? One collector from Ohio reportedly found one such coin in his late father's collection. He thought it was just another penny, until a coin dealer spotted its unusual shine and error on Lincoln's coat. The coin later sold for over $200,000 at auction. And here's the kicker, that wasn't even the most flawless specimen known. Experts believe that if a pristine, uncirculated example were to surface, it could easily break the $1 million mark. But how can you tell if yours is the jackpot coin? That's where attention to detail pays off. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and look closely at the year 2008. If the digits appear slightly doubled or the 8 shows signs of shadowing, you could be staring at a rare double die strike. Examine Lincoln's eye and coat details. Do they appear sharper, deeper, or misaligned? Flip the coin over. Are the letters in 1 cent perfectly centered or slightly off? Every tiny irregularity adds value, and collectors are obsessed with perfection or imperfection. In this case, you might laugh, thinking, come on, how can something so small change my financial life? But think about this. People spend their lives chasing investment opportunities, yet sometimes the path to wealth is hiding in plain sight. A simple copper penny can outperform a stock, a bond, even a house, if it's the right one. And here's where things get interesting. The 2008 no mint mark penny became even more desirable because of timing. The next year, 2009, marked the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, a massive event for coin collectors. The U.S. Mint redesigned the penny for the first time in 50 years. That sudden design change made the final 2008 issues instantly more iconic, the last of their kind. And when scarcity meets nostalgia, prices soar. Now imagine the fear of missing out when the next record-breaking coin is discovered, and it isn't yours. Every month, new stories surface of people who casually checked their pocket change only to find a 6-figure treasure. Could you live with knowing you might have had one and let it slip away? Of course, the market for rare coins isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge. Smart collectors know that values fluctuate, but genuine rarity always wins. A coin like the 2008 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a collector's item. It's a historical artifact, a snapshot of American resilience and imperfection. Owning one isn't merely about money. It's about holding a piece of time. So what should you do next? Start simple. Check your coin jars, your old wallets, your parents' dressers, and those coffee tins that have sat untouched for decades. Handle each penny with care. Oils from your fingers can reduce its value. If something looks unusual, get it appraised by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade the coin, giving it the credibility that buyers demand. And who knows, your next trip to the coin shop might just change your financial story forever. Because the truth is, opportunities like this don't last. Once the few surviving 2008 no-mint Mark pennies are discovered and locked away in collections, their prices could explode. Remember, every fortune begins with recognizing value before everyone else does. So the next time you pick up a penny from the sidewalk, don't dismiss it. Look closely. That tiny coin could be your hidden fortune, your unexpected breakthrough, your million-dollar moment waiting in plain sight. The question is, will you notice it before someone else does? Stay curious, stay watchful, and never underestimate the power of a single cent. Because sometimes, one penny really can change everything. Imagine this for a moment. You're emptying your pocket change, and there it is, a simple, shiny 2021 penny. You're seconds away from tossing it into a jar. When you hear this, one of these exact pennies sold for over $221,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that costs 1 cent to make, turning into a life-changing fortune. Now imagine if the penny in your hand could be next. Sounds unbelievable? That's exactly what most people thought, until collectors started bidding outrageous amounts for certain 2021 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies. So before you dismiss that little copper coin sitting in your drawer, you might want to look closer. Because today, we're uncovering why the 2021 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has become one of the most talked about coins in America, and how an ordinary person like you could stumble across a treasure worth a small fortune. Let's start with what makes this coin so mysterious. The 2021 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny was struck in Philadelphia, where coins typically don't carry a mint mark. At first glance, it's nothing special. Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Union Shield on the reverse. It's the same design you've seen 1,000 times. But the magic lies in the details. Certain 2021 pennies have tiny variations, errors so small, yet so rare, that collectors are paying massive sums to own. One of the most sought after is the die clash penny, where the design from one side of the coin faintly appears on the other, caused by the coin dies striking without a blank in between. Others have doubling in the letters, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," where it looks like a shadow of each letter sits just behind it. These are minting errors, and they're pure gold in the eyes of collectors. The rarer the flaw, the higher the value. And when word spread that a near-perfect 2021 penny with a unique die error sold for $221,000, the coin world went into a frenzy. Now, let's be honest. Most people don't think twice about pennies anymore. They roll under car seats, get lost in couch cushions, or sit forgotten in piggy banks. But that's exactly why opportunity hides there. How many people have unknowingly spent a rare penny at a gas station or dropped it in a tip jar? It's both thrilling and terrifying to think about. Every time you spend a penny without checking, you might be giving away a down payment on your dream home. And that brings us to the real question. How do you know if you're holding a winner? Start by looking at the mint mark or the lack of one. If your 2021 penny doesn't have a D or an S, you've got a Philadelphia strike, the same as the ones breaking records. Then, under good lighting, examine the text. Do you notice doubling in the letters or the date? Is Lincoln's face slightly distorted? Or do you see faint outlines of the reverse design showing through? Those subtle imperfections could mean the difference between 1 cent and $100,000. If your pulse just jumped a little, you're not alone. You might be wondering, why would anyone pay that kind of money for a mistake? It's simple. Scarcity drives value. When an error happens, it's usually caught quickly and destroyed. The few that escape the mint become instant collector's items. Think of it as nature's lottery in the world of coins. Few win, but those who do win big. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Experts believe there are still undiscovered varieties of the 2021 penny floating in circulation. That means someone, maybe even you, could stumble across the next record-breaking coin. The excitement of that possibility has led thousands of Americans to dig through their old jars, revisit their coin albums, and even buy magnifying glasses just to check their change. Sounds obsessive? Maybe. But when obsession pays six figures, it starts to look a lot like strategy. And yet, there's another side to this story, a darker one. Many people are sitting on valuable coins without realizing it. Time passes, coins get scratched, and condition matters. A penny that might have been worth thousands when pristine can drop to only a few dollars if damaged. That's the fear that drives serious collectors to act fast. Waiting could cost you everything. Still, let's not forget the thrill of it. There's something deeply satisfying about uncovering hidden value in the ordinary. It reminds us that wealth doesn't always come from stocks or real estate. It can come from paying attention, from curiosity, from holding on to the right coin just a little longer. Because every great fortune starts with someone who saw value where others saw nothing. Of course, not every 2021 penny will make you rich. But that's not the point. The real power lies in knowing what to look for, in recognizing opportunity before it's gone. The people who profit in times like these aren't the lucky ones. They're the ones who are prepared. They educate themselves, they check their coins, and they move before the crowd catches on. So what should you do next? Simple. Check your change. Dig through that jar in the kitchen. Go through the coins you've ignored for years. You might find scratches, you might find nothing, but you might also find a penny that changes your life forever. When you do, take clear photos, handle it carefully by the edges, and contact a certified coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their verification can turn a curious find into a serious payday. Before we wrap up, consider this. The 2021 no-mint mark penny that sold for over $221,000 wasn't discovered by a professional collector. It was found by an ordinary person who decided to look twice. Think about that. One moment of curiosity turned into a fortune. So, are you really going to let your next handful of change go unchecked? Because somewhere out there, hidden in plain sight, another rare penny is waiting to be found. And when it is, it could belong to you. So keep looking, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the path to wealth is right there in the palm of your hand. The only question is, will you recognize it before someone else does?